Our conversation tonight, like I promised you, we have a very interesting but very sensitive conversation that we're going to be having here. Let me introduce my lovely guest. Good to see you, Joy Brenda Masinde.
Asante sana.
You look wonderful tonight. How's your Friday?
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
It was very busy, but we ticked all the boxes.
I love that. Well, Joy is actually the chair of the board of directors at Kenya Power. And of course, there's this campaign, the anti-fraud campaign that has been ongoing. Let me just start from, at what point did Kenya Power feel like, no, enough is enough, we need to do it? Why now?
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yes.
And let me just start by saying that many people understand Kenya Power as, you know, we are the Greenwich from the West. The one you have to live with and you cannot live without.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you find the attitude towards the company for a long time was almost as if we've been unfair to Kenyans in so many ways and in so many means that people felt it was okay if they engage in activities that they get their own back in a little way.
Oh, okay.
And so it would start with small things, you know, you bypass a meter here, bypass a meter there.
Yeah.
But with time, it has gotten more and more sophisticated to a level where innocent Kenyans now are being defrauded by people who are taking advantage of the trust relationship that Kenya Power had with customers. So when I was growing up, if somebody turned up with just a lab coat, written Kenya Power, you'd be like, yeah, oh, when him talks on my meter, you just let them in.
Yeah.
You don't even think about it.
Yeah.
But now we've had people who've let in robbers and thieves using that. So it's gotten to a place where we had to introduce identification.
Yeah.
Jua for sure, so that you know who you're talking to, whether they're really legit.
Yes.
But now it's gone beyond that. It's gone to on your phone. You just find a way of, people find a way of getting to you. And so we realize, you know what, where it's reached, it's not just Kenya Power on the losing side.
Yes.
Our customers are being taken advantage of. And we felt, you know what, a little bit of engagement with our customers will be able to help them separate the wheat from the chaff.
Absolutely.
So that they know whether the person I'm engaging on the other side is a fraudster or whether it's a legitimate concern.
Did you have any complaints coming from the customers? Like, you know, they're trying to find your number. Hey, kuna watu wamenipigia. Did you get some feedback from the customers?
Customers, me myself.
Ata wewe.
Very strange, yes.
Seriously, what happened to you?
I made an application for a power connection in a small plot that I have in Athi River. And somebody calls me and they are using all my ID names, including the one that I was given named after my grandmother.
Oh
and
my
like,
goodness.
Who's this calling me by all my names? And it's like, are you the one who applied for power or not? I'm like, I am the one. If you want us to do it today and he goes ahead to give me all these things I need to do quickly, or else I'll wait for power for 3 months. And I'm listening to him and I'm thinking to myself, does this man know that?
Oh my gosh.
This is the chair of Kenya Power.
The chair herself.
If I need power, I'm the one who does not need any connection to get power.
You don't even have to wait. Yeah.
Exactly. So I listened to him, passed his number on to we have an anti-fraud team.
Yes.
And they did investigations. And the gentleman was calling me from Vihiga. Wasn't even in Nairobi.
How much was he asking for, if I'm not...
90-something thousand.
No way.
Because the quotation was 250. Like, this one we can do for, you know, you send me 90K and I'll sort this thing out. In fact, what you start with, just send me 9,600 to start with, and then the rest will do, and I'm done with the job. And I'm like, okay, so you've slashed my quotation to 96K, but you just want a 10%.
So, deposit kwanza.
Deposit. So, you know, once you send me the 96, you may shake you. That was the play. The play was just for the 9,000 bob.
Yeah. But so you can imagine you're the board, you're the board chair. Here you are being, you know, like, you know, put on the axe, like, send this money for us. So you can imagine how many Kenyans
are defrauded in the same way.
So let's look at the categories. So there's the people who call and say, actually there are people who come to your home, sisi ni watu wa stima, then they turn out to be robbers, like you say. What other ways do we have people, you know, doing the wrong thing and using Kenya Power as a brand? Okay, so like the fraud that I've just described is somebody who has access to our systems, because usually they're very accurate. They know you recently applied for power, they know your names, they probably even know the general area. So you find that then there's an element of maybe there is a way they hack into our systems. We've spent a lot of money on cybersecurity, and it's something we're still trying to tighten, because there is some way our systems have been breached and we've not been able to close that leak. But then there are those ones who now, maybe they're legitimate Kenya Power employees. Yeah, that's what but we call them Power B. Now, Power B are people who are unscrupulous. And I mean, our organization is over 10,600 employees. You can't miss a
a few bad apples, which we do not like, but you can't miss a few bad apples. And those ones will be like, you know what, yeah, they're legit. They work for the company. And yes, they want to do this and that for you. And they're like, you know what, we can sort you out with this. So they go ahead and they sort you out and they give you power and you think you're connected.
Oh, and then
2 years down the road, somebody else comes inspecting and says, you know what, this line doesn't exist in our books. We don't know how you are connected. We don't know where this meter came from. We think it was stolen. Who did the connection for you? By that time, the dude is long gone. The numbers he was using, he's changed them 6 times over. So you find now those ones have been taken advantage of, but by people who are in the company. So all that is something that we're contending. And our MD has gotten into a very robust engagement with the staff members. We have what we call Pamoja Twanga campaign, and in it the slogan is Tusichome brand, because we're like, look, when we do that, we are tumebant. We are doing this to us. We are doing this to ourselves because this is the hand that feeds us. When we defraud the people who we are supposed to serve, it's not helping any of us. So the attack is multi-pronged. So it's with the members of the public, but also within. And recently we had to let go of some staff who were caught in some activities and that they could not explain, and we had to release them because when the rubber meets the road, now it's zero tolerance.
But you've said 10,000 employees, Brenda. Like, how do you plan on doing all this, like the sensitization, like Pamoja Twanga, like the campaign that you've talked about inside the company? Is it possible to reach to the 10,000? And what is the message that you, as a leadership, is sending within yourselves to have that change of mind, even to the people who are doing these illegal, evil things within the company? So
the Pamoja Twanga campaign is aimed at our own staff. So what the management have done, we are divided into eight regions, and they've gone around to the different regions and had one-on-one engagements with our staff members on the ground, calling them in one place, have a nice fun day, have plenty of discussions and tell them, look, this is a friendly warning shot. If you're doing this, stop. And if we catch you, just know.
So it's a friendly warning.
At this point, we are all colleagues. We are all... But now, if something is escalated and we do our investigations and we find that you're culpable, at that point now there's zero tolerance because we have told you. Maybe there was a time you felt justified, or maybe you were in a bit of a trouble and you took a few shillings here and you thought this was a good side hustle. Just know that if you really value your job, this is not something you should be doing. And if we get you doing it, we are not going to let you spoil the name for the rest of us.
Have there been any prosecutions maybe to the people who have been found culpable within the institution?
Some have been taken to court. Some it's just been the disciplinary process of letting you go, of separation, because there's some of these things where the evidentiary value, the taking you to court, the evidentiary standard is pretty high. So we may not have enough to take you to court to prosecute you, but we have enough to let you go. So on grounds of misconduct, of you've defrauded somebody, that is something legally we can let you go, but we may not have enough evidence to actually take you to court. So prosecutions right now are not that many, but I do know that there are some people who have ended up in court or ended up in a process where it was taken beyond just the Kenya Power internal processes.
Now let's look at the consumer. Mimi nililipa mtu akaniekea stima. Months or years down the line, nimepatikana. Are you guys giving some sort of reprieve to customers who are found, you know, to have been victims of these things? Because I'm sure they are watching, they're like, Mimi Joy, nilifanyiwa hivi na hivi. How are you treating those clients who, you know, were innocent at the time that these things happened?
Unfortunately, we really can't give you a reprieve. What the president told us was try and legitimize those lines. But the process of legitimizing is that you just have to apply properly, we quote properly, and install properly. That's the only way we can legitimize. So what connection you've already done, we can't somehow insert it into the system, because you've had those stories of somebody saying that they've been told their meter is for somebody in Ngong, and then they're living in Ahero, and they're wondering, how did a Ngong meter get to Ahero? Now that's a problem, because each meter is geolocated. So if it's a fake meter, or not fake meter, but if it's a meter that doesn't belong there, there's nothing we can do to remove the previous one and give it to you. That's not possible. So the only way is for us to, we call it recovery. We remove what was done and we reinstall. Now that process is expensive, it takes time, it takes money. What we have not been pushing is like pushing the angle of let's go prosecution, or you have an illegal line, because they're like, look, at the end of the day, that person was taken advantage of as well, because many of them, they don't know. It's like, it was a Kenya Power guy, and he gave me, and I've been putting my tokens and it's been working. So they don't know better. So you find that they've also been taken advantage of. But to legitimize it is to follow the process. And unfortunately, maybe you did it years ago and it was cheaper, Now, by the time you're doing it, now you're paying double what would have paid. So it's a little bit of a pain,
so
but
the
it's
wrongs
possible.
still have to be
It has to be righted.
Yeah,
it has.
All right, let's talk about the success that the campaign has had so far. So as the leadership, what are you seeing? Are people also, are the public also appreciating, like, yeah, now we feel protected by Kenya Power? Are they appreciating? And what can you say are the, the successes that you're feeling so far with the campaign?
Okay, there's like, for example, this fraud of telling people that you're coming to rent your space to put transformers and stuff.
Yeah.
That is one area we've had major success, because I think that message came across very quickly. Because people would get called and told, your house location is absolutely brilliant. We think we can put a transformer there. And first put a transformer there, the company needs to pay you some money.
Yes.
If you're entitled to 300,000, if you own a me match for some 30,000, I can maybe up it kidogo or make it come out quicker.
Yeah.
So that used to be very common, but right now, not many people are getting taken in by that. So this one, for calling you and you've applied for power, people are also becoming a bit wiser. But if somebody, like yesterday, I just dealt with somebody who somehow still managed to pay money to these people that he wasn't supposed to pay money to.
Seriously?
But
are we talking about some huge amount of money, or?
Yes, it was 5 figures. And I was very heartbroken for him, because I was thinking, you ought to have known better. You're educated, you're a master's degree holder. How are you taken in?
Yeah.
But this one had a little twist, because what the conman did, he told him, come, let's meet at the Kenya Power offices. But now I told him, you know what, you walked to the offices, you met the guy, you went in, you sat down.
Yeah.
You don't know, it could have been a fellow. Us, we are thinking just another customer. But you are thinking, oh yeah, he's legit. We even met in the banking hall. I gave him the money in the banking.
Oh my.
So one thing our audience needs to know, we only accept money through official channels, and that is the bank account or M-Pesa. And if it's M-Pesa, make sure you pay to the correct pay bill, because there are different pay bills for different things. So if it's a new connection, it's a different pay bill. It's a postpaid, it's different.
And this information is out there?
It is on our website.
On the website? It
is on our social media pages. It is on our My Power app. In fact, I would encourage people to download our My Power app, because you get all that information in the palm of your hand.
Yes,
and most of the time, if you have like a postpaid meter, My Power app would even help you track something like your consumption. You can tell, what is this that's consuming a lot, and you realize that fridge you inherited from your mother that is as old as you. Kumbe, you're boasting how it's still working, and kumbe, it's the biggest consumer in the house.
So we'll actually get to that. But so apart from the pay bill, now let's talk about the consumer meeting the staff of Kenya Power. What are the red flags that you just know, this is a person who wants to con me, from the phone calls they make to how they present themselves in your home, in your business, and all those things?
First major red flag is false urgency.
Okay.
It is power connection. It's not a medical emergency. We can't call you telling you if you don't pay by today and then you'll find. So somebody calling you and they're pressuring you, they're calling after 2 minutes and you're trying to call, that person is definitely trying to con you, because our processes, in fact, to our shame, take too long. That is the opposite is what is true. So if you find somebody who's calling you and telling you they can do it today, liar. Our processes don't work like that. Before somebody generates a work ticket and it goes to procurement and the materials come out and they come to you, it takes time. So there's no one who can promise you that I'll connect you by Monday. Just if you do it now, by Monday you'll have power. I don't know.
So that is completely out of question.
That is a major red flag.
Okay. Another
red flag is somebody who's calling you from private numbers. So you find, for example, if we are ready to come and connect you, when we send you the text to tell you that this is a quotation or whatnot, it will come from an SMS branded Kenya Power. So if somebody is sending you a quotation, but it's coming from a private WhatsApp number, again, red flag.
Okay.
That is a number that you need to escalate so that we can investigate and find out what it is. What we are trying to do, and this is something that's in the process and should be rolled out very soon, is to try and get one central number where everybody calls and it goes to the different departments.
Yes.
So that way we reduce that thing of these are our numbers, because we realize when you have many numbers, then it becomes difficult.
It's easy for somebody to believe any other number.
Yes.
Yeah.
But one thing I also want to encourage Kenyans is, if you have a query, most of us are used to, I know a Kenya Power guy. So you want to call a guy
It's
directly.
funny how everybody knows a Kenya Power guy.
I know. We are 10,600 of us. You know a Kenya Power guy.
Yeah.
But if guys got into the habit of calling through the official line, so like if you have a blackout and you make a report on the *977#, or you dial 9777771, when you do the official one, then it's easy to track even your oh, it's been missing for 3 days. There's a ticket. There's something that's been raised. There's somebody who's following it to make sure that it's resolved.
Okay.
But now you call Joy. It's Friday night. It's payday weekend.
Hey.
I'm having mekanywaji. Oh, yeah. Sai tu. Natuma mtu usijali. As soon as I hang up, your story imeisha.
Na umetuma 5K yako.
Na sasa uko hapo hivyo mazee, my guy is sorting us. You're sitting in the dark waiting for your guy to sort you. Your guy forgot. Kwanza ameka disappearing messages. 24 hours. Hata kesho kimwambia nilikutumia. Ilishaenda. So if you want to, for your matter to stay alive until it's resolved, please use official channels to raise the issue so that it's out of an individual's control, but it's in the system. So we are trying to put everything as open as possible. So if a work ticket is still open, we can see it's moved from green to amber, it's getting red, or it's been unresolved. Now when you call me and tell me it's 3 days since I saw power, you do report. Yes, I told the Kenya Power guy, okay, send me the reference number. Reference number, then I'm like, oh.
Oh, yeah, got you.
Start with star 977 hash. And then I don't even do anything. After 1 hour, oh, thank you, Chairman, it's been sorted now. And I'm like... So use official channels. We are trying to get them to work, and they're improving. They're working a lot better.
Yeah, we're going to take a break, but before that, can you say like confidently these numbers are improving? Because the reason why people go to other, I know a KPLC guy, is because maybe they call and call and call, and by the time you're attended to, so what is Kenya Power doing about this this drag maybe that the customer might feel on the other end? Like, I'm urgently looking for that power connection, but before all those processes go through, I'd rather call my guy, whoever it is, yeah.
There's a time I did an experiment, not an experiment, but I tried our systems, and I called, and I was on hold for almost 12 minutes before somebody came on the line. 12.
That one you just give up, Aki Joy.
No, that one, I wanted to see what our customers go through.
Yes.
And I realized calling in is a very frustrating experience. And that's why I always encourage guys, you'd rather use the star 977 hash, because the self-service portal, so there are prompts that will come, and the bots will direct you, they'll generate a ticket, and the work will be picked up. Because sometimes getting somebody to physically answer a call can be frustrating, and now that's what leads to, I know a guy, let me call a guy. But just know, just because somebody is working at Kenya Power doesn't mean that they can solve your problems. Because there's some of them who are in finance, they're in procurement, they're in totally unrelated fields. They also have to call a guy to find out if a guy can sort them out. So it's gotten to a place where we want to take away that dependence on you need to know a guy. And that's why we're putting things in your hand. So the USSD code, the app, you can also report like a power outage, or you've seen a tree that's about to fall. You can report from. And for sure, on the other side is something that's going to be taken. It's going to be taken up. The same urgency. But if you want to like do, unataka kuruka jam, social media works a treat. So like if you tag us on your social media handles on Facebook, we also have a team that monitors the Twitter and the Facebook. So sometimes maybe we've reported and you have a reference number and you're not getting a response. So you just put it out there because, nothing works like publishing. I mean, it's a thing. So what were in the X? What were in the X? Umereport umengojamana watu hours, hakuna kitu unasema, oya Kenya Power Care. This is my reference. Yes. You find, by the way, even if one person had picked it and dropped it, this is the second person who'll pick it. And so that same reference number will be flagged and just be like, oh yeah, what's going on? Because the big idea is, even if you're not solving your problem immediately, get some feedback. What is going on? Maybe we are not able to give you a timeline, but we can tell you, look, this is major. It's going to take a while. Just be patient. All right. Or this one, 5 minutes, we're going to have you back on. Just give people feedback, because many times people are reporting because they want to know. They just want to know. All right. Thanks, Joe, for that. So we'll take a short break, but we're coming back. Don't go away.
And dancehall to conscious hits and island culture. This is
right, and welcome back to this Friday. Thank you very much for staying with us. Tonight, of course, I mentioned earlier, we're speaking to Joy Brenda Masinde. She is the chair, board of directors, Kenya Power, and we're talking about the anti-fraud campaign that is currently ongoing, just to make sure that customers are empowered to say no, to know, who is a KPL, who is a Kenya Power, of course, staff, who's not, which number to use, which number to pay, what not. And that's the discussion we've been having. KPLC, it's people here in the brand ya kitambo, but it still rings in our minds.
It still works. Even our website is still KPLC.
It's still KPLC. All right. We want to talk about the illegal power connections. How is Kenya Power going to be addressing that, or how has it been addressing the illegal power connections and also the meter tampering? Now, especially the meter tampering.
Let's start with the legal connection. So you find, for example, in our unplanned settlements,
yes,
you have got something as high as 70% of the people who are connected illegally. So
70?
Yes, because there's this thing that they call it stima ya kusambaza.
Yeah.
So there's a place he has vutad power, then he gives people, and then he collects 500 bob from them every month.
Yeah.
Remember that little meme for nitakufinya?
Nitakufinya.
Yeah, those guys kufinya usiongelele maneno ya stima. It's because that's where they make their money.
Yeah.
Now, statistically, if you look at how much power those guys consume and what they pay for it, they're actually being overcharged. They're paying almost double for their power, what they would ordinarily pay.
Oh, from those illegal connections.
Yes,
but double.
Yes, but those cartels will not allow us to properly meter, because they know once we do, and somebody realizes that they can top up a token of 300 bob, they're on lifeline, so 300 bob goes a long way.
Yeah.
Then they lose business. So whenever we try and put in connections in those areas, you find that becomes a problem. So we try, yes. So we try and resolve it amicably sometimes and try to do a bit of recovery, see if we can regularize, put meters in. They get stolen, they get vandalized. So we get to a place where drastic measures, sometimes it means we just go in and take all our installations out.
Okay.
So you'll hear something like, for example, Mathare has not had power for X amount of years, and it's because we went in and took our transformers and kila kitu tulingoa tu zote tukaenda.
Right.
So you have nothing to sambaza, because those things, you hear Kenya Power posting losses of between 21 and 23%. A big chunk of that is commercial losses, and illegal connections actually contribute to that. And it's also dangerous because those connections also have a lot of electrocutions. Now, because the connections are illegal, you find those ones don't even get reported. So people get maimed, some people actually die, but it flies under the radar, because you can't sue Kenya Power for that, because you weren't connected to begin with.
Right.
So even for Kenyans who are in informal settlements, we're trying to encourage them. And that's why projects, for example, like the affordable housing, for us is like a major plus. Because now you're in your unit, I can give you a meter.
Yes.
And you can consume and you can tell, if I use X amount, I keep it low and I manage it. But here kusambaza, you never know. Mara it's over voltage, mara under voltage. So it's very dangerous. So
and you're saying it's been so difficult for Kenya Power to enter into those, the slums and low income.
I mean, we've had instances of our guys going there and they're trying to disconnect, and the people at the ground are like, ukikata hiyo stima usishuke hapa chini. So a guy looks and he decides, it's like Wiley Coyote. You're like, hey! Apana, unarudisha tu. And then you go down.
It's been tough, yeah.
So it is a big thing. So how we're trying to go about it, we are exploring ways of doing like bulk metering. So what we do, we sell power in bulk, maybe like somebody like Rerec, who deals with last mile connectivity. And then now they do the submetering at a very subsidized rate to the customers. Okay. So that is a work in progress, but it's something we're hoping it takes. Now, it can only take also if we somehow get some order in the places where, so like the streets, the places you can mount poles, you can mount transformers. So that's an ongoing conversation.
Okay.
But meter tampering now is a problem.
Yeah. Because
now we've given you a quotation, all well and good, you've come in, we've installed your meter. Then after a while, you do what we call kunyonga meter.
Kunyonga meter.
So the thing, it counts 3 and deducts 2. It counts 3 and deducts 2. Kenyans, you're not good people. It's very embarrassing to admit. But the people who do that, unfortunately, for when it is meter tampering, and if we do find that you have done meter tampering, the first thing that we do is we put in a check meter. Once we see what your consumption looks like, we're billing you for the back payment. I'm telling you, it becomes a whole KC. And we are not reconnecting until, because at that point, we're not treating you like a customer. At that point, you're a criminal. Because the alternative is just to take you mbele and just say, you know what, this guy stole power from us, what this much. Whoa. So you find some people will be happy to sort of have a discussion about it. and resolve the situation. Others now we've realized, especially for large consumers, they have a sort of relay system where when they know our people are up and about, they're on the straight and narrow. The moment they know now it's Gioni, nobody is coming, they have like a switcheroo. So Kenyans have been very creative.
They're creative.
You look at this and you're like, I mean, your whole hotel, you're running, all your ACs are on, all your fans are on, all your boilers are going, you're frying chips and everything. How's your power coming to 100,000? It's impossible.
It's not possible.
That's not how we do business. So we know that there's a problem. So we're trying to employ different tactics, whether it is metering you from the transformer direct or putting your meter on the pole, so that we are metering what's coming from the pole rather than what's entering your premises, because at your premises, we have no control.
Right.
There are customers who we've had to get into negotiations on how they're going to make up for that. There are others who it's become a big problem. We've had to kick them off the grid. They've had to go look for their own solutions. But that steals from the rest of the Kenyans, because that counts as part of the losses that are accounted for in our bills, because we are allowed by law to recover part of that 22. So what you're stealing from us, all your brothers and sisters are helping you pay. So it's not exactly free.
I got you. All right, as we start to wind up, let's talk now to the public. What happens when you're found doing these things? And also the public, of course, you've talked about the Kenya Power staff themselves, but the public, what happens to you when you're found, to be, doing some of the things that you've talked about, kunyonga meter and all these things? Yeah.
So initially, the initial response will be for you to go into our offices and you sign a liability admission form. So you say, it's true, I actually, from this period to this period, I've been consuming power at less than power, and I'm liable to pay this amount. So if you do admission, then it doesn't go further. We just get into a payment plan and you start paying us as we regularize the issue.
Also as you continue to consume power.
Yes. So
hamkati stima.
No, tunaweza kukatia tukwambia mpaka ulipe X amount alafu sasa ndo tukurudishie, because I mean you're that guy who you've been eating people's lunch while you didn't bring your own.
Got you.
So you've got to make good for that. But if somebody, for example, is a serial offender, or maybe they've done something major. So, for example, it's not nyonga in your own meter, but we know that you are the engineer or the technician.
Yes.
Because sometimes people have been our contractors, they know how our systems work, and so they tell guys, this one I can sort you out, this one I can put for you direct, this one I can do what. Now, those fellows, actually, we escalate and we take them to DCI, you go to court.
Okay.
So you can end up being incarcerated, you can end up paying hefty fines, you can end up... if you're a licensed engineer or you're a technician, you can end up losing your profession because you get blacklisted.
All right.
So it has real consequences.
Okay, so just don't do it. Just do the right thing.
I know power is expensive, but also our behavior can help us to mitigate the cost of power, and that's why we came with these prepaid meters. Now, I know they're a pain. We have to key in all the numbers and you have to do whatnot.
Yes.
I mean, because they're fairly analog. They're very analog. Smart meters are the ones that are able to do that. But for us to get smart meters, we have over 10.2 million meters in the country right now. Only just under 1 million are smart meters. So the rest of them are still the analog type.
Yes.
Until somebody does that. In fact, it's a big issue, and it's something that's alive to us because there's also the issue of inclusion. I have friends who are blind, they're visually impaired, and they told me, look, the reason I don't want a prepaid token in my house is because if it runs out, before I even know it's run out is when my phone has died. Because so me, I'd rather stay on postpaid. I get an alert. Somebody reads it because they have the audio and they can tell my bill is X amount, because they're like, you and those two tokens of it, I have to find somebody to be inputting. So it's an inclusion issue. It's complicated. But right now, to replace 10 million meters is a bit of ka-ching. And that ka-ching right now is a bit of a problem.
Power, surely mkona pesa.
Tukomboka lakini tukomboka hivyo. We're coming slowly. We're getting there. No, because think about it. Let me use like Muthaiga, for example. The way Muthaiga was designed, it's still the exact same way. So the number of compounds, the number of houses. And so you find, for example, for a transformer to fail in Muthaiga is next to impossible. Some of those installations are 100 years old. But it's still the same number of houses, the same supply. So everything is...
constant.
Let's move to Kileleshwa. It used to be at one house in an acre. Now you've got all these high rises.
Yes.
All of a sudden, the same infrastructure that was laid out is supposed to supply all these people. To upgrade that to meet the demand is a cost.
Is a cost. Okay.
Litigation is the bane of our existence. So you try to do something and people go to court. Next thing you know, you're told, don't put that substation there because it's going to cause cancer to people. You want to do this and that, somebody goes to court. I mean, Kenyans, you know too much rights until sometimes you don't know what's good for you. So you get to a situation where we're struggling to give service, but we're dealing with all this, you know, it's ball and chain. It's ball and chain. So you're trying to make progress, but you have to put in some effort.
All right. So look at the camera, Joy, and just talk to your consumers very quickly as we wind up, and also the staff, the 10,000 guys who, or the
Pamoja Twanga.
Pamoja Twanga, yeah.
So let me start with my colleagues. You know, I'm proud of all of you. You've done so well over the last few years. The company is facing a major turnaround. We don't take you for granted. And I, for one, am very proud to call myself a person of mimi ni mtu wa power. You know, they tell you, nyinyi watu wa power, mimi ni mtu wa power. To those of our colleagues who are still getting out of habits that are not the best, please hurry up and get your act together, because it's a sort of situation where if we catch you, there'll be no mercy. Why? Because Kenyans deserve better and you deserve better. So do well for yourself to reform the Tusichome brand. To the Kenyans, please realize that Kenya Power assets are all of our assets. It was Kenyans taxpayers' money that put these installations in place. And right now it's Kenyans who are our shareholders and the government who's our shareholder. Anything that you do that robs Kenya Power, robs the rest of the Kenyans. And quite frankly, we need money to keep the lights on. So let's all do the right thing. Kila mtu kidogo kidogo, haba na haba, unapata tumejaza kibaba. Because for those of us who are in very far-flung, very remote areas, the only way we have the money to keep going into those places is if we have enough to invest there. But if we keep replacing transformers because they've been vandalized, or replacing things that have been vandalized, somebody else has got to pay for it. And sometimes it means your shosho will die without seeing power in her backyard because we just didn't have enough to reach that far. So tusaidiane, ndo sisi wote tusichome brand, au sio?
Tusichome brand, Tusichome brand. Thank you very much, Joy. It was a great pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I feel we will continue, you know, sending that gospel out there, even in our own spaces. What we're finding the right thing to Tusichome brand. All right, so guys, we've come to the end of the show, and it has been wonderful, of course, having this conversation with Joy, of course, from Kenya Power, on the anti-fraud campaign that they're having. You know, Joa, let's do the right thing, like she's mentioned. And of course, Willis Ocheng and all the amazing team members at, of course, TV47 who made the show a success. We say thank you. See you again tomorrow for Say What. It's going to be great. Till then, be kind to one another and mlale poa na mfike home poa. Good night.